I realized that we all borrow from 4 different temperaments. And this is not a new thing. There's nothing new I'm discussing with you. You could have heard it when you were in college. But believe me, it was written for the first time 300 BC. 300 BC. So it's not new. By a man called Hippocrates. He was a physician, a very popular Greek physician stroke philosopher. But I'll divide you into 4 groups in just a moment. But before doing so, I would like you to be keen. You have a pen and a paper. Be keen. I'll give you about 3 points only for each of the 4 temperaments which you have had in the past. And the reason I'll do this is because I didn't come here to tell you about the 4 temperaments. It is because I want to talk to you from your group. So I will group you. I'll group you according to where you belong. Then I'll speak to each of the groups individually. Let me repeat. I'm going to mention the 4 groups very briefly. And I'm going to censor a lot of information because if I release all information, you refuse to go to your groups. Then when you go to your groups, I'm going to tell you the real truth about your weaknesses and the dark side of that temperament. And then you'll see the need why you need to work with others. Are you ready? Try to identify. See whether you belong any of these 4 categories. Don't allow anyone to pick it for you. Pick it for yourself. And then I'll instruct you where you're going to stand. And the first one, I'm going to call it the choleric. C-H-O-L-E-R-I-C. Choleric. Find out whether you hear. A choleric is an outgoing person, very aggressive. They demand obedience and loyalty along the ranks. They are goal-oriented, personified. It is either their way or no way. You must follow. You are there to be seen, not to be heard. Their word is final. They are militant on their approach. They can crush and ruin relationship on their way up. They are so preoccupied with their agenda and with their goal. They are natural workaholics. They never get discouraged by people. As a matter of fact, if you attempt to discourage a choleric, they get a very good reason why they must succeed to prove you wrong. In fact, they are motivated by discouraging remarks. They have a lot of capacity and they can work for many hours and even forget to sleep until they are treating back pains. Until they are stopped by someone, they might not remember to have some rest because they are so much occupied to achieve their goal. Let's go to the number 2. Choleric is the most tricky to identify. The rest are very easy to pick. Melancholy. This is very easy. This is very easy. If you're melancholy, right now I can even pick you very easily because we love order. Melancholies love order. At home, if your husband comes and throws socks in the sitting room, you have a problem. Doesn't he know where we keep the dirty socks? There's a place where we keep things. In the office, they will lock and carry the keys. They don't want someone to interfere with how they have planned their desk. They are very organized, they are very orderly, and extremely scheduled. The easiest way to identify yourself, if you are melancholy right now, the most important thing tonight is what time is Kenyanjui finishing? Because you work with time. Did he start at 6? Will he finish by 8 as he promised? And for the benefit of the melancholies, I will finish by 8. Amen. Amen. Yeah. So they are very schedule conscious. So if you are planning to buy a melancholy a drink tonight, you should have told them in January. You don't capture them by surprise. They like order. And they're very cautious even when they dress. They must iron their clothes. And in most cases, they must do it themselves because they don't trust others who do as good. That's the melancholy for you. All right. Number 3, sanguine. S-A-N-G-U-I-N-E. Sanguine. S-A-N-G-U-I-N-E. Now, this is extremely the easiest temperament to pick. Let me tell you, right now in this place, the easiest way to pick a sanguine, all their gadgets are on the desk. You must notice them. You must notice their gadgets. And they buy expensive gadgets, they would rather go without food. Now, they are very strong on image and they update everything on social media. Right now, chances are they are twittering and they will send a picture on Facebook. They even update us on the lunch they are taking, on a holiday they are taking. If they are boarding a plane, they have to send that picture to everyone. The sanguine must be known. They must be noticed. They can't come and hide in the crowd. They must be noticed. And they talk like this. They talk like this. What's your name, Martin? Do you understand the point? They use a lot of gestures. Someone picks a phone. He has some Mira in Meru. He's walking along Loiter Street. Ati nini? Wakakata mira yangu. And the Pharaoh is in Nairobi. You can see the demonstration because they use a lot of gestures. They are very jovial, they are very lively, they have a great sense of humor. They don't like dull moments. That's the sanguine for you. A very easy temperament to pick. Now the fourth one is quite tricky. Phlegmatic. Phlegmatic. Now the phlegmatic is a calm individual. They are cool. You can't easily identify them. But this is the easiest way to notice a phlegmatic. And if you're one, this is the easiest way to know you're one. They don't like being noticed. So they like hiding in the crowd. They avoid any scenario. They hate drama. They hate embarrassment to their core. They'll do anything to avoid being embarrassed. Unfortunately, they don't easily volunteer for anything. They are not there to encourage you, whether you're starting a business or such a meeting. Then they are better watching the stage, watching the show. They are better watching others perform. They don't quarrel, and they will avoid any argument at any cost. They prefer relating well with everyone, and it is unnatural. They don't purpose to relate well. It's their natural inclination. But they're very reluctant in offering help. I'll not go beyond that for one reason. I repeat myself. If I go beyond that, you're going to refuse to go where you belong. But once you go to your groups, we're going to release a bombshell. Agreed? So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to make some instructions. We are going to request everyone who is a choleric to stand up and stand right here. And all the melancholies will come and stand here. We'll stand right here. All the melancholies. All the sanguines will stand here. Don't mix. All the sanguines will stand here. 4 instructions. The phlegmatics will sit down. I don't want any phlegmatic to stand. And they will sit in these 2 seats. This, and this. Okay, let's go to our respective places. Cholerics, I said, are the guys who are so hardworking, the workaholics. Awesome. Let me start with the cholerics. Let me start with a positive note. Congratulations. You are go-getters. You have a lot of energy. You start a project to its logical completion. You are extremely focused individuals. You know what you want, you identify it, and you don't whine. You are never discouraged by any personality. But your problem begins there. Because of your desire to reach the top, you can use, misuse, and abuse everyone. You can step on everyone's shoulders. You can crush people's spirits without your knowledge. And I regret to announce, of all temperaments, you die earliest. And before you die, you have migraines, you have back pains, and you're nursing a lot of health issues. Now, you have another problem. You have a tendency of thinking... You have a tendency of thinking other people don't think. And you imagine you're the only thinkers. Excuse me, brothers and sisters, all these people have brains. Let us give them a chance. You have another problem. You don't feel other people can perform as you. So you kill yourself because you can't easily delegate. You feel they will not deliver like you do. You're the only gifted chap, the only fish in the pod. I'm coming back. Melancholies. Oh, let me start with a positive note. You are the best thinkers. You have the best points in any brainstorming session. You are artistic and poetic, and you're the most talented and gifted people. You are very orderly. You are very organized. You are ever smart. You know where everything is. Right now, as I talk to you, you know where your keys are. You know where you have kept the money and how much it is, and you know your account balances. In fact, you don't even guess. Your problem begins there. You are extremely mean individuals. You can't buy anyone a cup of tea. Of all temperaments, you die poorest. You count a lot of losses. If melancholies meet in a place to take a cup of tea, they start counting the loss. Melancholies, you have another issue. You keep grudges for a lifetime. You never learn how to forgive. You have another problem. You can keep planning and scheduling until you lose all opportunities. In fact, you take longest to identify a life partner because you look for a perfect person who exists only in your head. You are skeptical with everyone else, and you have a tendency of believing everyone is working your downfall. You keep thinking people are stabbing your back. You are very insecure people. Oh, I'm coming back. Sanguines, congratulations. You are very energetic people. You have a great sense of humor. You are admired by all temperaments. You bring life to a crowd. You hate dull moments. In fact, when a sanguine loses the mother and everyone is mooning, they tell, don't worry. Mom is with Jesus. Don't worry. You are encouraging people when you're mooning because you like life, you like party. You have an answer to every question from law to medicine to arts. In any meeting, check the noise levels. It is highest where the sanguines are. There's another issue with the sanguines. Everything they do is for a show. Please, at the end of this meeting, identify a sanguine and tell them they're smart. Otherwise, they'll be depressed. They dressed for us. We can't afford to disappoint them. Because everything they do is for an image. And this is where your problem begins. You end up with car loans when you have not paid your school fees to impress people. You will pick loans to buy gadgets that you cannot afford. You live in estates you can't afford a rent. Of all temperaments, you are the most indisciplined individuals. In fact, I regret to tell you this. Whenever you hear someone is going out of wedlock, the number one suspect is a sanguine. They can't be satisfied by one person. I'm coming back. Phlegmatics. Oh, you're nice people. You are cool, you are calm, you are peace-loving. You are godly from the outside. You never offend anyone. You are very lazy people. That's why I told you to sit down. Standing up is too much work for you. Can you imagine telling a phlegmatic to stand? You are very stubborn on the inside. You are natural hypocrites and have a tendency to believe everyone is a sinner. Except you. I'm coming back. Now, you will notice I'm discussing weaknesses much more than strengths. What I'm trying to do through all this, don't take it personal, there's nothing personal here, is to let you know this. Every person has a lot of weaknesses which we hardly look at. We always look at the weaknesses of the other person. Let me do this before I go to level 2 of our discussion. I'll pick some names in the country, not because they're better than the other people, but because they're housebrats. We can identify with them. And I'll just go straight. The best example I can give here is the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. The best example I can give here is the former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka. The best example I can give here is Atwoli and Sonko. And the best example I can give here, I have to give it seated. Nyinyi munaona vile tunaendelea. Munaona kazi vile inaendelea. Pole. Haraka ya nini? Are you with me? Yeah, just for us to pick that. And I'm going to show you. While I say they are the laziest, the interesting thing in life, they achieve the most. And this is what I want to explain. They actually achieve the most in life. And the reason is simple. Those who came the last seminar, if you were able to listen to the 3 sessions, I narrowed down to one word: relationships. It is because they are more concerned with the relationships. So what happens is this: a choleric working for a phlegmatic is always complaining that the boss does not work as much, and you're right, but he is the boss. Because, pick Michael Kamau for instance, CS Roads. Been there since 1979. Look at President Kibaki, since 1963. They will tolerate everything until they reach the top. Now, the best bet for a choleric is to start your own shop, believe me. Because you always see things going wrong and you're trying to challenge the boss. Let me come back to our day-to-day life, how this operates. Now, let's start with driving, how we drive, our driving behavior. The choleric, the majority of the time and the majority of them will overlap because they are very important businesses to do. They have planned their day and there's too little time. I don't know why God made it 24 hours. For the choleric, it was supposed to be 36 hours. But they quarrel the cops. They quarrel them from a distance. How much is my bill? What is your issue? Why are you distracting me? There's a road to be put up. You know? The melancholy obey the traffic rules because they believe in order. The phlegmatic follows the traffic rule because they fear being arrested. The sanguine is always late, but they smile at the cop 1 kilometer away. Sasa afande! Unasema aje? So they are never arrested. They are never arrested. They manage the managers. You know what? If they come late at work, they greet everyone and they start with the boss. When everyone else is feeling the boss, they start with the CEO. Hey, Sasa, how was your weekend?